Mic, I can be able to hear you. Can you say something now? Just say hi.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi, hi.
I can hear you now without the mic, so I'm now going to ignore the mic so that at least I can be able to hear you, can be able to hear me from your end. So we are going to continue from where we left. So maybe somebody can remind us what we covered yesterday. I may not be able to attend. Let me check that message. I've seen a message. Is it Edwin saying that he will not be able to attend? Check that message. And where is the message? Where did it go? Call message. Apologies, I may not be able to attend today comfortably. I'm on transit and the network keeps. If possible, please record and share with us. Yeah, but you can also still listen, even if you'll not be able to talk. You can listen. You can listen what we are saying. So somebody to remind us what we did yesterday. Edwin, you can listen as you continue with your journey. Somebody to remind us what we did yesterday. Yes, you can listen. Somebody. All of us were in class. What did we discuss? I hope you normally take short notes when we are discussing, even screenshots.
Yes, hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on, Anthony. Is it Anthony?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Hope
Good
you are doing
evening.
okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I did not yet finish solving my problem of accessing the website,
Mhm.
and also nobody managed to share with me the materials. Timothy,
You did
yes,
not reach out to
maybe,
them.
yes, maybe I used to coordinate with one of the
Mm-hmm.
head, but also you don't have the materials. Yeah. So what we learned yesterday actually. It was quite long
Mm-hmm.
topic today or subtopics where we learned one of the things was a chain control system
Mm-hmm.
where we control the chain of the project. When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the chain, how things are supplied, how they are controlled in the project, so that we don't have overspending or overusing of some materials
Mm-hmm.
and that can affect the project.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have cost benefit analysis.
Mm-hmm.
You have also to analyze the cost of the project and see the benefits there because it is a bit okay
Mm-hmm.
or it is okay when your project has benefit instead when it has losses. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then we also have decision criteria.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn how to decide in project management because when project comes, there are things normally you may go and analyze, you study, but at the end of the day, and when you start the project, you find
Mm-hmm.
new things coming like unforeseen things may happen, and within the journey of the process, you need
Mm-hmm.
to be able to make decisions accurately so that your project is not affected completely. Okay. These are the challenges and obstacles we will be able to find while doing the projects. So we should be able, especially the project manager who's managing, should be able to always make decisions with the team
mhm,
so that they can adjust uh, the uh, the incoming obstacles that may affect the project. Then at the end of the day, you are able to complete the project without big challenges or without terminating the project or without finishing the project with unsatisfaction from the client. And then finally,
mhm,
for our cost forecasting and tracking.
mhm,
How you track your cost
mhm,
in the process of the project? Because as we know that always when you're starting a project, there is a projected budget always, the cost for that. And you know I'm supposed to be spending this amount of cost or amount of money uh, within this work. When this work is done, this is what I'm supposed to be spending. Or when I reach this percent of the project, this is what I'm supposed to be spending.
mhm,
So when you track the cost and what you're spending, to be able to match
mhm,
how you allocated your cost according to the work breakdown. So that you are able to see, are you using the budget accurately and
mhm,
within the framework of the project, or you are exceeding without work being done? So this is under cost forecasting and tracking, and then we have when the BCR is greater than one, it is less than one, and when it is equal to one. And we say that when
mhm,
the BCR
mhm,
is equal to, I mean, is greater than one,
mhm,
that means the benefit
mhm,
is outweighing the cost. Okay,
mhm,
and in the business, when your benefit outweighs the cost, so you are okay,
mhm,
or the project is okay. And then another thing, it is when the BCR it is less than one. That means the project, the cost, it is outweighing the benefit, meaning
mhm,
that you are going to be in loss.
mhm,
And at the end of the day, you may reject the project because the project that is going to bring losses to you, uh, meaning that it is not profitable. And always, when we do projects, of course, it has to be successful and we should be able to get benefit from it.
mhm,
And then when R is equal to 1, uh, this is when the benefit equals the cost, meaning that the benefit you're getting is equals to the cost,
mhm,
and then the project gains
mhm.
nor loses the value. That is what I picked from yesterday, and they are calculated anyway, that this is where I learned from.
Very, very, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, at least you have done a good work. That is giving us a good recap of what we did yesterday. That is benefit cost ratio. We went through the earned value management. Apart from that, we were able to come up with a summarized table. We were able to look at the cost estimation summarized table. We looked at what we call the budget forecasting and tracking, as you have said. The forecasting techniques, this is what we did last time. It has also been covered very, very well here. We agree that you go through the formulas, you do the examples, at least you can be able now to understand them. We covered the CPI, and the other part that we are supposed to cover is now the SPI. But before I wind up with the SPI, there is a question that I left yesterday about this part. My question was, what it is, when CR, the benefit cost ratio is equal to 1, what do you do to the project? Do you do away with the project? Do you go ahead and implement the project? So we agree that you go and research on that. Abdi, for quite some time you have not been in class. Where have you been?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, Sir
Mm-hmm.
Francis.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been feeling well for the last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been feeling well. I've got so even this night
Mm-hmm.
now
Yeah, no
I'm
well.
not feeling well, but yeah, I've joined. Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry for that, but at least it is good to make communication through the admin because we may assume that you're not, maybe you don't want to come to class. So always make
Oh no,
some
no, I won't. I won't.
communication. You can also contact me directly
Mm.
because the number is still there.
I have missed your number. I have even looked from the WhatsApp group.
It's not there. I'm there. I'm one of the admins in the scholarship. I think I'm one of the admin in the scholarship group.
Okay, okay, I will check. I will check. Yeah, yeah, I will check your number. It is 07.
You have
What?
missed a
What is
lot.
the?
0728.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will
So
check.
it's 281 at the end. So check.
Okay. Okay. I will check now.
All right. So Brian, did you find out when the BCR is equal to 1? What do you do with the project? Brian, what do you do with the project? Cyrus, what do you do with the
May I
project?
try?
Yes, 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 please.
Now, according to me and my research,
Mm-hmm,
if assuming the benefit cost ratio is equal to one,
mm-hmm,
one of the things you have to evaluate the assumptions,
mm-hmm,
meaning that you have to double check your estimate
mm-hmm,
for cost and benefit.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and then another you can look for qualitative benefits.
Qualitative benefits.
Yes.
Once they outweigh the cost, you go ahead and implement the project. Okay, thank you. And tell me, uh, what was your research on that?
My research on that
Mm-hmm,
question,
mm-hmm,
we can do the value engineering to identify if the work done match with the quality
we do
and
what?
cost.
Come again. We do what?
Value engineering the exploration.
Re-engineering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can look at the plan, the activities, and so forth. So find out. So, but those are some of the answers which are correct. Let me go straight to SPI because we have a lot to cover today. Uh, so the other part was the schedule performance index. The schedule performance index. This is what was left yesterday. I said I did not want to saturate your mind because I know costs. This topic requires 3 sessions, at least 3 sessions, and it requires that you look at the materials very well. You read, you research more on what is here if you want to understand the costs. But at least I have given you almost 96% of what you are supposed to cover under cost. So if you got cost well, all right, then you can comfortably come up with a budget. And I don't know whether the rest of the students have submitted their work on this particular topic. That is the budget breakdown. I did not manage to check. I hope they have sent the budget breakdown of their projects. Um, so let's look at the schedule breakdown. We can now mute our mics, please. If your mic is on, kindly mute. I don't know. There is somebody whose still mic is on. So let's go on. So the schedule performance index. purely is all about the schedule, and I have shown you the schedule. Yesterday I said, or maybe I was able to cover the components of the schedule, what you're supposed to have when you're doing a project, what you're supposed to cover. And the schedule performance index will simply look at the efficiency of the schedule. Are you able to, or how quickly work is being completed as compared to the planned schedule? If you are supposed to complete the project in 2 years, how soon can you complete the project? How soon can you complete the project? Because this is your planned value. Remember, this is your PV, your planned value. But probably the earned value is supposed to be, the earned value for the project is supposed to be in 2 years. Uh, Maybe in 2 years, you're supposed to have covered maybe 95% of the work. But you find in 2 years, maybe you have only covered maybe 80%. You have covered 80%. You are supposed to cover 95, but in 2 years' time, you have covered 80%. So if you look at the schedule here, is that you're supposed to complete the project within 2 years. But if you look at where you are, that is at 80%, and maybe the remaining time, just a few days, you may not be able to complete your project within the planned schedule of 2 years. Because by 2 years, you're supposed to have covered almost 95, or let's say 99%, but you have covered 80%. So you need to look at the earned value. Remember yesterday we were able to calculate the earned value. How do we calculate the earned value? Always remember the bar. If the planned value was 2 years here, 2 years, that is the planned value. So by this point, you are supposed to have covered 1.5 years. That is your earned value. That is the earned value for the schedule here. But you find that you have only covered what? Maybe you have covered 1.3 years. You have only covered 1.3. That is, you have spent maybe 1.3 years. So you see there is what? There is a difference here between 1.5 and 1.3. So let's see. Here we have, let me use a figure that doesn't have decimals to avoid the issues here. Let me give you a practical example here. So you're supposed to complete your project within 6 years. So that is the schedule. In 6 years, you're supposed to have completed your project. And at this point, we can say that you are supposed to have covered 95% of the work. But, so this is year what? So this is let's say this is year 5. But instead of being in year 5, you are now, we can say that you are now in year 3. You are now in year 3. So that means you are behind the schedule. Why? Because you are supposed to be in year 5 when your work is at 95%, but you are in year 3. You are in year 3 at 95%, and maybe then the percentage you have to change here, because that means you have not covered 95% of the work. So your earned value is supposed to be 5, but it is 3. So what does it mean? It is 3 to what? That is 3 is to 5. What does it mean? Are you ahead of the schedule or behind the schedule or on the schedule? When your ratio reads like this, the SPI, are you on the schedule? Hello? Your ratio is reading,
Behind the schedule.
you are behind the schedule, isn't it? You are behind the schedule. What about the 5 is to 3? When the SPI is 5 is to 3,
Ahead of schedule.
ahead of the schedule. What about
Yeah.
you are supposed to be at year 5 and you are now in year 5. So that is 5 is to 5, which means that the SPI is equivalent to 1. You are on the schedule. Let me go to Cyrus. Cyrus, are you able to hear me? You are implementing a project. Tell us, in terms of the SPI, where are you? Are you?
Actually, my contract
Uh-huh.
no longer there at the moment. It
You are not.
ended on
Oh, you are not
last
there
week.
at the
My
moment.
engagement, my engagement ended with them last. I think on Monday last week. Yeah,
Oh, you terminated your contract with them. They did not renew the contract, or
they did not.
maybe
They had budget.
permanently
They
employ
had,
you.
but they had a budgetary issue,
Mm-hmm.
so they had to reduce some of the staffs, and I
Oh,
was
the cost.
one of
You
them.
are one of them, those who are affected.
Yeah, yeah.
Was the project donor funded?
The project it was half donor funded,
And
half
half.
was funded by the institution.
Oh, that is now the problem with the projects.
Yeah,
When you're working with the projects, always remember that. And this is the question I asked you when we were doing the phases. That sometimes we may have stress when maybe we are crossing the project, because once you cross the project, you don't know what is going to happen next. Remember, projects are temporary. So if you're working on a certain project, pray God that once that project has come to the end, maybe the organization will move to the next project so that you can continue existing in that organization. That is now the disadvantages of projects. But if you find yourself implementing programs, then you are lucky, because you are now implementing projects within the program. They are mounted in the programs. But all the same, I don't know. Do we have somebody who is currently implementing a project? Joseph, I know you're implementing a project in Samburu. There are so many projects. Joseph,
No, right
uh
now I'm not implementing any,
you are not implementing any project.
but
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to see. No, but I'm trying to see there were proposals I sent to Elma Group.
Mm-hmm.
That one that deals with pediatrics.
Oh, okay.
So there were proposals uh, coming up with a pediatric unit,
Mm-hmm.
and so waiting for them. Told me they said I could really need. So maybe if I become lucky, maybe I will get to
Oh,
project.
consultancy proposals or grant proposals? Which kind of proposal? Are they grant or
Grant
consultancy? Oh,
proposal.
grant proposals. Okay, all right. I wish you all the best in those
Grant.
grants.
Grant proposals, yeah.
All right, it's okay, no
Thank you.
problem. So I wanted to find out whether people are able to understand what we call the SPI. So understand the SPI properly. If you find a problem, or if you face a problem, when you are going through this topic, because you need to sit down and go through the topic, you can always reach out to me. So when the CPI is less than 1, the project is under budget. When the CPI is greater than 1, it is under budget. Then we have the CPI is less than 1, it is over budget. So find out, because there is also an example here. When the SPI is greater than 1, you are ahead of the schedule. Greater than 1, 5 is to 3, 5 to 3. Then you can do the example here and See what is going to happen. So I want to end my training for cost, that is module 5, at that point. Is there any question before I move to module 6? Any question before I move to module 6? Hello, is there any question before I move to module 6? So I tend to believe there is no question, so I can move to module 6, that is project quality management. Now, I don't know whether you are able to connect what we are doing here. We started with introduction. After introduction, we have done scope. We have done what we call the time. Time we have done. I don't know whether we have covered the schedule. I think we have covered the schedule in between when we are covering others. Uh,
Yes.
we did
Mm-hmm.
cost. We have done
Scope,
cost, scope. Now we are dealing with quality.
time management.
We have done even time management. Yes, we have done time management. I don't know whether you are now able to connect what we are doing. So you see now, when you are doing this short course for project management, we normally touch all key areas in project management. We don't go outside the project management because we want you to have what we call a deep understanding of project. So we are through with the cost. We are now talking about the quality of the project, because this is another area under the triple constraints. Remember the triple constraints. So we need to plan, we need to manage, and we need to control. We have done controlling cost and how you can control cost. So when we plan for quality, if you look at the photo there, what can you see? All of us can be able to see what I'm presenting. Maybe you can tell me what you're seeing. Yeah, unless you are not in class. I'll
I'm
start with
seeing plan,
You're seeing what? A pen?
plan quality.
No, I want you
Mm-hmm.
to tell
A
me what
pen
you
there.
paper, pen, What else
Uh-huh.
can you see? There is
Then there
light.
is a light, and is it such symbol
Uh-huh.
or magnifier symbol?
Magnifier.
We
And
have
then
lenses, two
and then
people. We can be able to see two
the
people.
graph
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. Yeah.
There's some kind of talk. So we are now planning for quality. We want to plan for quality because when you're implementing project, apart from estimating the cost, sitting down with the team, developing the budget, then you're supposed to look at the quality. Remember, this is part of what you're supposed to do when you're planning for your project. You plan for quality. How will quality be done? What are some of the tools that you're going to use to plan for quality, or maybe to check for quality in projects? For example, let me ask you a simple question. So far where we are, so far where we are, do you feel that we have added value in what you whatever that you knew before?
So much, especially to me.
What about the rest? Do you feel that there is value? Do you feel that this is quality education? Derek, where is Derek? Derek is not in. I don't know where he has gone. We really need to find out where is Derek, because he also really missed classes. So I don't know what is happening. So let's talk about quality. So if you look at the photo, we are now planning for quality. So we need a pen and a book or a notebook. we need to identify the requirements and standards. We need to know what we consider as quality. If, for example, we are dealing with that kind of project that Cyrus was implementing about, that is, it was about gender and something where they used to distribute sanitary towels. So, if, for example, they were purchasing those towels, how did they define the quality of the towel that they were giving to our young girls and women? Apart from that, what about other materials? How are they defining quality? How did they manage quality to ensure that everything that was brought by the suppliers or everything that is done in that project meets what you call quality? Then how do you control quality? How do you ensure that everything, the process are being followed? Because at the end of the day, we have what you call the organizational what operations assets, the rights of what you call the policy, procedure, processes. We normally call them OPAs. We look at them. Then what are some of the activities that we can execute to say, or maybe to ensure that quality has been done? Who is in charge of quality, or what you call quality assurance? Is it the quality assurance officer? Is it the project manager? Is it the entire team that is involved in project management? Who is responsible for quality? Where does quality start? Is it at the initiation? Is it at the monitoring and evaluation stage? Where exactly does quality start? We need to ask ourselves that question. Where does quality start? So I want to go straight to the introduction to quality. We were supposed to have covered quality this week. Unfortunately, we cannot even complete quality this week, so we are going to proceed next week with quality, depending on where we are supposed to reach today. Uh, so, Cyrus, read for us quality management.
Okay, it's a mindset and process that must be integrated across the entire project and embraced by everyone involved. When that happens, fewer errors, better outcomes, and happier customers results.
Quality management, yes, it is a mindset and also a process. So, whatever kind of project that you are implementing, you must integrate that in the entire project, and it must be embraced by everyone involved in that project. So if you don't do that, then you may not be able to say that that project has been successfully done or it met what we call the quality specification. So when you embrace what you call the quality management, of course you are going to have few errors. The outcome of the project are going to be good or better. Then the results, customer will be happy because of what you call the results. So let me do introduction to quality management. If you remember, I don't know whether I can convert this to PDF so that at least I can be able to write something. So let me convert this to PDF. I save it as PDF so that at least I can be able to call it main power to differentiate it with another one here. So at least now I have now the PDF part of it. Uh, so introduction to project quality management. And quality management will ensure that the output meet the output meet what you call the defined requirements and customer expectation. So what are defined requirements? Defined requirements is what you are required to deliver at the end of the day. If you are building, for example, toilets, what are defined requirements? Number one, we are supposed to construct 10 toilets. That is quality requirement number one. Then the specification of these toilets, for example, should have tiles. They're supposed to have tiles. And what kind of tiles are they supposed to have? I don't know different types of tiles, but if you know them, you can specify here. Then what about the iron sheets? Are we supposed to use iron sheets? If yes, what kind of iron sheets are we supposed to use? Defined requirements. Defined requirements. The output must meet what you call defined requirements and customer expectation. That is something that you should note. If you are implementing a project, you should have what you call the customer's mind in your mind. Because you're not doing your project, you're supposed to deliver a project based on the requirements of the customer or the expectation of the customer. So make sure the product or service, remember we said that project project will produce what? Either product, we said it can be a product, service, or what we call results. That is what we said, results. So that is something that you need to know. Define the requirements. So quality will focus on both deliverable quality, you know what we mean by deliverable, the end product or results or service of a project activity. Then the process efficiency. The process efficiency. So in quality management, we are going to look at even the resources. How well did you utilize the resources? The process itself, how did it go? In terms of schedule, did you follow the schedule? The process, how did you deliver the project? Did you deliver the project or the deliverables? Are they within the schedule? Are they within or probably within the budget? The scope, are they within the scope? That is something else that you need to understand. Remember, the scope is going to guide you.
Question.
Yes, Cyrus.
So, is this project quality management same as audit? Because the way you're explaining it, it's look like an audit.
You look at the audit. Let me not comment about the audit now. I'll comment the audit once we do something. There is something I want us to do in our next lesson once we complete with this. I want you to reserve that question because I want also to integrate part of M&E. There is something I want us to do in monitoring and evaluation in projects. That will be one lesson. I want to integrate it here once we complete this lesson. Then once we have done that, then we are going to see the difference between quality management, the monitoring and evaluation, and project audit. We are going to see the difference between the three, among the three. So we are saying that it focuses on what we call deliverable quality and process efficiency. Process efficiency. You look at the processes. Were they put in place? If, for example, we were supposed to look at the process of what you call, let's say, what do you call them? Regulations. If you want to construct a house, what are some of the regulations? What is the process that you're supposed to follow? Did you follow that process, procedures? Because one of the reasons why we are having issues with the project, especially construction projects falling down, it's because of the process efficiency. You are supposed to have used, for example, a metal or a steel D32, but because you did not follow the process, you used D16 to save money. And maybe the house has, let's say, 10 floors or so forth. So what does it mean? The quality of that particular project has already been diluted or interfered with. So process, policies, etc. Deliverable quality. It applies to all project phases and team members. What does it mean? Quality management applies to project phases and team members. So when you're doing quality management, so it will cut across all the phases. That is right from initiation all the way to project closure. We must also engage the team members. Why? Because our aim here is what we call continuous improvement and what we call stakeholder satisfaction. So we want to satisfy our customer, our project proponent, the owner of the project. If in, let's say under, let's say foundation, when we are coming maybe up with the foundation, maybe we did not do it better the way it's supposed to be done. So when we are doing the next phase, what does it mean? We really need to have what we call continuous improvement. Continuous improvement, in Japan, they used something we call Kaizen. Kaizen. Kaizen was used in what we call production. Continuous improvement. We have produced, I don't know whether you know a famous company called Ferrari, and we have a famous company called Lamborghini. Have you ever heard of Ferrari and Lamborghini? If you like vehicles, definitely you know what I'm saying. One of the reasons why Lamborghini became so famous, it's because of what you call continuous improvement. Lamborghini himself, because it's a person, he was a tractor mechanic. He was purchasing vehicle from Ferrari. Ferrari is actually a person. He was producing the best cars during that time. But because Lamborghini was a tractor mechanic, he was able to identify a weakness with Ferrari. So specifically in tractors, he was dealing with the clutches and what you call pressure plates. So if you have been driving a manual car, you understand what we mean by clutch and pressure plate. Because for you to engage the gear, you must press in the clutch, then you release. You disengage what you call the clutch and the pressure plate for you to engage the gear. That is the science behind it. So Lamborghini realized that Ferrari had a problem with their clutches. So the clutch had a problem. So he approached Ferrari and he told him, so because I have been buying these vehicles from you and I have already bought two, and you know Ferrari it's very expensive actually even today, but not like Lamborghini. He approached Ferrari and told him, I have identified a weakness in your product. But you know what happened? He did not take it lightly. Ferrari did not take it lightly. because he told him, "You are just a tractor mechanic. What are you telling me? I am a millionaire, I have money. I have been selling these vehicles and I have not come across any complaint from any customer. Why are you saying that they have weakness?" So now, Lamborghini left Ferrari and went ahead and came up with a vehicle, a V6. If you have ever heard of a V6 engine, a V6 engine is famous with Ferrari because he used the tractor engine plus the pressure plate for the tractor and came up with a Lamborghini engine. So he modified with his team and came up. They actually sat down and came up with a design that could accommodate the tractor engine, part of the tractor components like a clutch and pressure plate and pistons, big piston, and they came up with a Lamborghini. So what am I trying to say? Is that you're supposed to aim on what you call the improvement, because when Ferrari learned that the clutch had a problem because there was a complaint, he could have called his team, brainstorm, and try to do what you call improvement on the vehicle. But later on, when they went to the market, Ferrari was now far ahead of, I mean, Lamborghini was far ahead because he could actually sell the car at the highest bidder with a lot of money. So what am I trying to say? Quality, improvement, process, improvement. I want you to go and get the history of Ferrari and Lamborghini at your own free time. Just research on Lamborghini and Ferrari, and when we meet, tell me what happened. So, when we talk about quality management, it involves what you call planning, assurance, and also control. You plan for quality, you assure your client that you are going to deliver the best, then you control for you to deliver the best. So if you are building a house and you have assured the client that you are going to deliver the best, then you must take control for you to deliver the best. So when we say that quality applies in what you call project phases or team members, let's see what we mean by that. Why quality management applies to all project phases? Number one, quality isn't something you check only at the end. It is built in from start to finish. So look at this statement that I have made here, that you don't check for quality at the end. Cyrus, I hope you have gotten something from that statement, that you don't check for quality at the end. It is built from the start to finish. That is something that you need to note here. So during initiation, quality starts with clear objectives. If the goals are vague, the whole project risks missing the mark. So what do we mean by vague? If the goals are not achievable, objectives are not smart. The other day we were able to come up with smart goals and objective with the other group for monitoring and evaluation. But for our case, we know that the goals are supposed to be smart. That is specific, smart. That is why I've said I am going to introduce you to another lesson for monitoring and evaluation. A little bit of what you can apply in project management. So if we don't come up with what you call SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, you are missing a mark. For example, if you say that you're implementing a project, let's say um, reduce, let's say reduce malaria cases, malaria cases, cases from 10% to 5% within the next within the next 3 years. So that is your vision, that you want to reduce malaria cases from 10% to 5% within the next 5 years. Specific, reduce malaria cases. Measurable, from 10 to 5. Achievable, I can achieve this within 3 years. Relevant, is it relevant? Yes, it is relevant, because I'm controlling what? I'm controlling malaria. What about time bound? Yes, within 3 years, I'm supposed to have completed what? That particular project. So initiation, quality starts with clear objective. If the objectives are not clear, then you cannot say that you are going to produce or to deliver a project of high quality. Why? Because the goals are not smart. You are telling us that you are going to reduce malaria cases in the next 3 years. So you are reducing malaria cases from what to what? So it's not a clear objective, because you are not telling us, I am starting here, this is the current case, these are the current cases, or this is a current issue, then I'm reducing from this point to this point. So that is the goal. Now the objectives. What are the objectives? Probably for you to control this malaria, you need to set up, for example, 10, let's say 10 what? 10 maybe water chlorination centers. Maybe you need to train women and girls on how maybe to treat mosquito nets. How many people do you need to train? Maybe you need to train the entire village. You need to train 10 people who can now work as ambassadors. So you start with what you call clear objectives. This is what I want. The donors look for these kind of goals. They want to see within 12 months that I'm going to maybe to fund your project. What are some of the goals that you're going to, objectives that you're supposed to achieve? And what will be the goal at the end of the day? During planning, you define quality standards. This is the key. And how to measure success. So it is during planning where you plan for quality. You do quality, you plan for quality standards. How are we going to measure quality standards? For example, if it is delivery of the material, number one, we are going to monitor that the materials were delivered. But the question is, quality now we look at the standards. If it is cement, what kind of cement that you wanted? Is it Baburi cement? Is it Simba cement? Is it what kind of cement? So quality is more of specific. It is very specific. This is exactly what you wanted. And how to measure success. How do you measure success? Probably you can measure success based on the maybe you can say that you've been successful if you are within the budget. There is earned value. Remember, we have talked about earned value in cost. So if you're supposed to spend let's say 50,000 Kenya shillings, and you have achieved all that you're supposed to do, and you have spent 45, which is there is the earned value there, that means we can say that you have met what? Quality. So without this, teams don't know what goods look like. I'll put good in quote, because if you don't define quality standards, how are we going to know that we are moving in the right direction? How are we going to know that we have constructed the right house? How are we going to know that we have delivered the right mosquito net? Be very specific from the word go, from the onset of the project. Be clear. This is what we expect. This is how we are going to measure success. Execution. This is where quality is implemented through proper processes. The OPAs, we normally call them OPAs. Organizational process assets, OPAs. So during execution, ensure that there is proper processes that were followed, tools and skilled work. During implementation, you have brought, because that is when you hire people. Remember, during planning, you said that I'm going to hire technical team. So when you are implementing the project, skilled people, I want a technical personnel with the following requirements. Remember you did that in planning. So execution, the tools that you are bringing, what kind of tools are you bringing to the site? Are they the recommended one? Are they part of what you are supposed to bring? Then during monitoring and controlling, continuous check, issues are identified as early as possible before they become costly mistakes. Because you can bring, for example, uh, let's say, uh, let me pick a practical case here. During monitoring, um, because you want to maintain quality here, we are saying that monitoring, continuous check will help catch issues as early as possible before they become costly mistake. So that is part of quality control. So you are supposed to bring, for example, you are building a house. You are building a house. What kind of toilets are you supposed to bring, or are you supposed to buy or to procure? What about the what we call the piping, the plumbing system in that house? Because if you bring, for example, what you can say that plumbing, that let's say water materials, the likes of pipes, taps, toilets, and so forth. Do you call them sanitary items? I don't know whether that is the right name. If you don't bring the right sanitary items, let's say you have done plumbing the entire house and there is leakage of water, so it might bring the entire building down. What are we saying? We are saying quality, continuous check will help cut issues as early as possible before they become what you call costly mistakes. So it is part of monitoring, it is part of quality standards. Did we meet quality? If you are supposed to bring, for example, 3 inches pipe, is that what we brought? Or maybe whatever we brought is 2.9. So that did not meet what you call standard. We're supposed to bring 3, we have brought 2.99. So there is a loss of 0 point something. That 0 point something is what you are talking about here in quality. What about closure, or what you call closing or closeout? Final deliverables are reviewed to ensure they meet agreed upon standards. What did we agree that you're supposed to deliver? Closing. Why is quality management applied to all team members? Or why does it apply to all team members? Quality isn't just the job of a QA person. It is not only the work of a quality assurance person or project manager. It is everyone's responsibility. Quality. It is the responsibility of each and every person who is in that project. But now, if quality doesn't go right, who is responsible? It is the quality assurance person. Because you are there, yes, and it is the responsibility of each and every person in that particular project to ensure that there is quality or quality standards are met. So the QA person has to ensure that activities are done in the right way. That is the QA, the quality assurance person. So if activities are not done in the right way, what is supposed to be done? Probably you can recommend that it's supposed to be done the right way. Then what are some of the roles of the team in project? For example, what is the role of project manager in quality management? Number one is to ensure that quality has been planned, tracked, and built into every part of the project. That is his role or her role. We must plan for quality. What are we supposed to deliver? What are some of the standards that is supposed to meet? What about team members? Because like now Cyrus was among the team members. How did he ensure that quality is met? Number one is to deliver work that meets the standard and flag issues as early as possible. Flag issues as early as possible. So the work that you are doing, you're supposed to do, you're supposed to deliver the work that meets what? The standard. Remember, you have all planned for the quality. So does it meet the standards? Like here in Kenya, we have an organization that is in charge of quality assurance. It is called Kenya Bureau of Standards. Kenya Bureau of Standards. If for example, you are selling water, um, bottled water, the Kenya Bureau of Standards are supposed to come to check your business. They'll take samples of the water that you're selling to people. They'll take it to their laboratory. They'll do whatever they are supposed to do to check whether the water has the required what elements for human consumption. That is to ensure what we call quality. So even in the project management, everybody is supposed to be responsible for quality. What about stakeholders? What is their role, or what are their roles? So they help to define what quality means and feedback. They are the one to define quality. This is what we want. So if you get, for example, consultancy work, the stakeholders are supposed to define what quality means to you. Because sometimes we normally say that the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So you can see a very beautiful lady, and probably the next person to you doesn't see that beauty that you're talking about. So it is the same as quality. Sometimes we normally say that quality is fitness for purpose. So if it fits my purpose, then that is of high quality. But maybe to you doesn't fit what? Your purpose. What does it mean? It is not of high quality to you. That is why we are bringing stakeholders to help us to understand what quality means to them. Because you may do something, you may implement a project, then you find that no, this is not okay. This is not what I expected. Like now for our case, we have been facing such kind of issues. If you don't sit down with the client and understand what quality means to them, especially in the branding, you'll find yourself in total mess. Because expectations are different from realities. So that is why there is need for you to understand what quality means in the eyes of the customer. Because you are going to do consultancy work, after this course, you may find yourself implementing project on consultancy basis. So you need to understand from the word go, what am I supposed to deliver? Don't deliver what you think is supposed to be delivered. I'll give you an example of graphic design. When you're designing a logo, and I know you know what you call a logo, like for example, this is a logo. This one is a logo from Media Africa School. Does the logo have a message? Yes, we are talking about Africa. We are covering the entire Africa. So we have the map of Africa here. But as a graphic designer, when you are designing this, you decided to bring not this map of Africa, You decide to bring something like let's say an ostrich. You have an ostrich in the logo. Maybe an ostrich is here. So in your eyes, you think that the ostrich fits what you call Media Africa School. But in the eyes of Media Africa directors and shareholders, you find no, that is not what they expected. So you need to sit down with the team, understand they want me to come up with a logo, yes. Tell them to describe the kind of logo that they want, because your work is to interpret what they are telling you. For example, they can tell you now, we want you to think around what you call Africa, the entire Africa, because the school is covering the entire Africa. We want the name to have three names. That is Mide Africa School. So in your mind, you are now supposed to interpret what you have been told by the client. So fitness for purpose. In the world of graphic design, there is a lot of problems because you can even design 10 logos, 10 logos, and out of 10 logos, the customer may not even pick even one because you did not understand what it means quality to the customer. So you need to understand the duties. They help to define what quality means and provide feedback. When you are developing this logo, expect to be given feedback. When you're implementing any project, expect to be given feedback. And get feedback as early as possible, such that in case there is what you call changes, you can implement the changes as early as possible before you reach to the point whereby you are going to maybe to have spent a lot of money for no apparent reason, or maybe it leads to cost overrun, and maybe the customer will tell you, no, that is not what I wanted, can you repeat the entire work? And maybe you have spent half the budget. What is going to happen? You have to go deep into your pocket to take care of your mess. So that is why quality is very, very important. Vendors or contractors. Vendors are suppliers. We have contractors, the people that you have contracted to do some work. Because right now you'll be contracted, you work as a consultant or a contractor. You must follow agreed quality standards. This is not negotiable, my good people. It is not negotiable. Whatever the client want, that is what you're supposed to deliver. And that is why I've said that quality is fitness for purpose. Let's look at what normally make what you call quality. When we talk about quality, what really makes up what you call quality? Number one is planning. You sit down with your team during the second phase of project management. You set the standards. You set what you call the KPIs, the metrics, the critical success factors that are going to show the team that for sure we are moving the right direction. The metrics that will help you to measure the quality, the procedure that you're supposed to follow. Am I supposed to write a report? Am I supposed to have a checklist? What am I supposed to have to check for quality? Ensure that the project align with the customer expectation. There is what you call, when you're writing, for example, a report, we normally say that you must have what you call reader's mind. So the same case to quality management. You must have what you call the customer's expectation. You must understand customers' expectations. So don't just go ahead, implement your own project. No. Implement customers' project. Are we together? Are we in the same page? Quality assurance. Yes,
Yes.
good. Quality assurance. Quality assurance. So you are now assuring the client that whatever that I'm going to deliver is what we agreed upon. So in quality assurance, you focus on preventing what? Defects. Any problem that may arise, you try to prevent it, because at the end of the day, you have already assured the client that now I am going to deliver within 12 months. I'm going to deliver this, I'm going to deliver this and this and this. So you must be within, you must focus on preventing what you call defects. Include audits. When you're assuring quality assurance, we have audits. When you're conducting audit, what do you normally look at? Effectiveness of the processes, efficiency of the team, process reviews. Are we following the right process? Best practice checks. Very, very important in quality assurance. Are you using the right software in the market? Or you're using a software that was used in the year 2007, and we are now in the year 2019, or we are in year 2025. So best practice checks. The softwares that you're using, technology that you're using, is it the latest technology? Is it a technology that is going to deliver the best? You need to assure the customer. If you're auditing the finances, have they been used in the right way? What kind of opinion will the auditors give? Is it qualified opinion? Or what you call unqualified opinion? When the auditor comes into your project and give what you call qualified opinion, that means there is a lot of problems. There is something that is not going on well. So you really need to check. There is something that is not in the right place. But when the auditor comes in and give what you call unqualified opinion, that is like an assurance that financial health, we are good as a business, or as a project, we are spending the money in the right way. Unqualified opinion. What about control? We were doing about scope control. We have done what you call the cost control. We are now in the quality control. You need to monitor the results to determine the compliance. You focus on identifying and also correcting what? Defects. So you identify and correct, and you also prevent them. Inspection. You do testing and measurement. Why are you doing all this? For quality control. Maybe you're implementing an ICT system, a learning management system for maybe an institution of higher learning. So the system need to be inspected. Even the website is a project. You need to know whether the logs, whether the links are working, whether the links are connected to each and every page. Are they working? You test whether the website is working. Is it really working? Can somebody purchase the course through online? Is it easier for them? Is it even measurable? Can you be able to know the number of people that visited the website? So quality control, because at the end of the day, there is what you call the definition of quality. What about improvement? That is what I was talking about. Ferrari and Lamborghini. Like now the lessons learned here. Feedback loops, root cause analysis. If you look at the like, for example, Ferrari himself, he was given feedback, but he didn't utilize the feedback. He could have gone to the root cause, brainstorm with his team, and find out what is happening with the clutch and the pressure plate. What can we do? What can we learn from the customers? Can we improve ourselves based on the feedback, regardless of whether the feedback is negative or positive? Can we improve our services, our processes? But he decided to take a grudge with Lamborghini as just a mere mechanic, tractor mechanic. But what happened? Lamborghini used that as a weakness. And that is what normally happens in the business. When you're given feedback by the customers, try to use the feedback now to improve yourself. Like now, we expect to get feedback after you have completed your course. You maybe do a survey, and that is what we normally do sometimes. We do a survey. We look at whether the weaknesses, the areas that we didn't need to improve ourselves on because of what we call quality standards. We believe in quality, and we must also do whatever that is supposed to be done. Is there any question up to that point? Any question? If there is no any question, there is the quality management and project success. So when you manage quality, there is likelihood that your project is going to succeed. Number one, when you have strong quality management, you reduce rework, the cost of redoing the work. You can imagine you have done up to second floor. You are building a house, you have done up to second floor, then the municipal council comes to inspect, or the physical planning department, or the National Construction Authority comes and inspect your project. And they find that probably you have done it the wrong way. So they'll tell you to work on the project. What is going to happen? The cost of reworking the project, delay. The project is not going to be completed on time. There is overrun, cost overrun. So when you manage quality and you do the right thing, I'm telling you, you are going to complete the project within the stipulated time, schedule, scope, everything will be okay. So avoid the shortcut, because this is what happens when it comes to constructions. I don't know about other countries, but I know in our country there is problem with the quality of projects, because they don't even follow the procedure or the process. And you find the whole building has come down. You spend billions of money, then the whole building comes down. Why? Because of quality. You better spend money when you're doing the project the right way that you're supposed to, instead of the cost that can be brought by that project later. If you properly manage quality, the customer will be happy. The stakeholders will have confidence in you. They can comfortably refer you to another project. You have done that project. If they have another project, they can call you. They can comfortably refer you to another client, because that customer is happy. For example, once we complete project management and you feel that for sure we have given you the best, you have confidence with the school. You can comfortably refer the school to another person. Why? Because you are customers, and probably we have satisfied you. And again, you're going to have what you call confidence. Confidence. Teamwork, accountability, and ownership. When you're doing quality management, there is what you call teamwork. Remember what we said from the word go, that quality is not meant for project manager only or QA. It is meant for everybody. So there must be collaboration, accountability. You are the one who did this. Accountability, you are accountable. Yes, I'm the one who did this. Probably you did it wrongly. Ownership, you take the ownership of the mistake. You accept that this mistake happened. Let's now think how we can sort this problem out. You don't just hide yourself there and you let the team continue suffering in your hands. Ensure compliance with standards and regulations. This is what is really facing the rights of Anthony. Anthony, compliance with standards. You are told to use cable 2.5 when you are doing wiring. I don't know whether it is 2.5. I can't even remember the size of those wiring cables. That is the compliance standard that you're supposed to follow. But when Anthony is doing wiring, decide to look for shortcuts and get maybe 1.5. The kind of sockets that probably that you're supposed to maybe to use, do they meet what you call the standards? It is a requirement that when the house, when you're building a house, if it goes beyond, for example, 1 floor, you're supposed maybe to use a certain, maybe certain kind of materials, certain kind of mixture. That is a regulation. But the question is that what you follow? Ensure compliance with the standards, regulations, and contracts. I want to end my lesson at that point so that I can start this point next week. Is there any question? Is there any comment? Have you learned anything about quality?
Yeah, actually, from my side, I have learned quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my question is half answered
Mm-hmm.
about the difference between audit
And the quality.
and quality management, because we have seen quality management is done throughout
Mm-hmm.
the project or the program.
Mm-hmm.
For the audit
Mm-hmm.
and maybe evaluation,
Mm-hmm.
it's done after the
Mm-hmm.
project is completed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's different so far.
All right. That's a good observation, but we are going to will comment later, as I said. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Actually, quality of soil is one of my best subtopic that I've learned, and under the sub uh, lessons under quality,
Mm-hmm.
I think I mostly felt interested in why
Mm-hmm.
we choose quality.
Yes,
And
quality.
then we have the three powerful points.
Mm-hmm.
When you choose quality,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you are going to have few errors,
Mm-hmm.
better outcome,
Mm-hmm.
and happier customer satisfaction or results. So I think this is one of the points I've managed to grab
Okay.
so because it really
Mm-hmm.
speak much.
Okay. All right. Good. At least you have picked up something. Mm-hmm. Kasim, Amil, Abdiaziz. Kasim, what have you picked? You did not pick the thumb. There is something that you have taken home today. Kasim seemed to be in a position where he cannot be able to speak today. He has been using emojis from the start of the lesson. Amil, Amil, is there anything that you have learned today? You know, Amir is in project management, so I hope we are actually complementing what you already know. Amir, are you in project management? I think my guess is right.
Yes,
Okay, so what do you feel? Are we giving you the best or maybe less than
yes,
what you
yes,
expected?
yes, it is.
It's good
They
to
don't know.
confirm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we would want you to. You are in Somalia, right?
No, now I'm in Uganda.
Oh, you are now in Uganda.
Mm.
You are implementing projects in Uganda, or you are still going on with
Study.
your course?
Mm. Still, I'm studying.
Oh, okay, all right. It's okay. Okay, all right. All right, team. Share the materials. I'll share the entire presentation. It has 38 slides because quality has a lot, but take your time to go through each and every part. It has actually two sections. There is this section and there is another section here. Examples I have. So I'll share both materials, how we utilize the tools in project management, in quality, and I'll share with you so that at least you can have a look at what is here before we reach this particular page. So expect the material anytime. So Anthony, I'll share the materials directly to your email. Now that
Okay,
you
thank
are
you.
you are not able to access the portal, we had agreed that you're going to reach out to me today during daytime. I did not actually see even your text today, even a hi, or maybe the schedule
I'm
was
sorry,
tight.
I've been busy. That's why, actually. Sorry.
Mhm. It's okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So we are going to meet next week on Monday. Those who are still have assignment, you can go on with the assignment. You can submit it so that I can find
Okay.
time to do the assignment. Otherwise, have a good night. Have a blessed week.
Good night.
Good night.